Alright, hello. Welcome to LEGO Conspiracies, episode 2. This is the second episode of LEGO Conspiracies. If you haven't watched the last one, it was about how old is LEGO Mission X. If you want to know how old LEGO Mission X is, go watch that video. There are a few different answers to the question at hand, but, I came up with a few solid conclusions, and LEGO Mission X, may or may not have confirmed one of them, He has been saying that he's like 200 or so. I forget the exact age, but yeah. So this is, and if you don't know what this video is about, well, clearly you haven't read the title, but this is about potatomeen. What about potatomeen? Well, potatomeens, I believe it is his right hand. His right hand. And the odd thing about it, if you've ever seen potatomeen, is that he uses a gray handpiece. But for the other handpiece, he uses the kind of flesh, Caucasian flesh tone handpiece. So the weird thing about it is he's never really he said before that he's not sure if it's a glove or what is it. Is it a mechanical hand? Is it what is up with one gray hand and just one quote unquote normal, just kind of his flesh tone right hand. So what's with the gray hand? That lead me to I'm thinking it could be one of two options. Like I said before, it could be a glove, or it could be a replacement hand, or maybe it's a replacement arm. We don't know how far up it goes because he's wearing, a long sleeve, jacket, right? Kind of the Guardians of the Galaxy, coat. So that lead me to think, well, how are we going to determine if it's a glove or a replacement? Because that's the first step, Determine if it's a glove or if it's a replacement hand. And sorry for the noise in the background. So the way I went about doing this is I went through his images, and if I can determine which is his dominant hand, I believe I can determine if it's a glove or it's a mechanical or, replacement. Now, the reason I say that is because the reason why you want to wear a glove on one hand and one hand only is like spies do it to I believe it's just to keep their prints like off a glove, off like their gun or something, right? If they lose it, they can't be traced back. So if they hold it, so they'll obviously put their glove on their dominant hand, right? And then they'll use the glove to use for, like, weapons and stuff like that, right? So let me be thinking, if I can determine that his gloved hand, and now I'm going to say gloved instead of left and right because I get my left and right confused, right? And it'll be less confusing for you. So if his gloved hand is his dominant hand, right? Then that obviously means that it's a gloved, right? If his gray hand is his dominant hand, it's most likely a glove. And if it isn't, then it's more likely a replacement because it wouldn't make sense to wear a glove on your non-dominant hand if you're not going to use it. So I went through some of his posts, and I'll show you the images as I mentioned them. The first, most obvious one that you've probably seen a bunch is Potatomeen holding a gun. Now, he holds it in his gray hand. And so that obviously shows that he's using the gun with his, quote-unquote, his gray hand. But there are also some exceptions. For example, here, this is the Round Beaches post, but you can see he is using a sword with his non-gloved hand, right? His non-gloved hand. Which is suspicious, because why would he, if he's going to wield weapons and his, But maybe, because I've seen other images where he uses, because I didn't include images where he uses both of his hands, but usually he uses his gloved hands for his gun and maybe his, other hand for like swords and stuff. So maybe that's the case. Maybe he doesn't want to use his glove dirty or something. He uses his normal hand as to wield swords and axes and stuff like that. But you also, if you look at this image here, he's using his gloved hands with a sword. So that kind of deconfirms the rule. And then also you can see here, he also uses a gloved hand in this Mario pose for, whatever the hell that is, okay? He uses a gloved hand. So it's inconsistent. Now, I've never seen an image of him using his I keep on saying gloved hand, but I should say gray hand. I've never seen an image of him using his gray hand with his gun, but he has used it with other weapons, which wouldn't make sense. Switching between both hands, you should probably use one for the weapons and one if you're not, because that just makes more sense, because then you don't get your prints on the weapons. So you're kind of at a loss, so this leads me to believe that it may not be a glove, may be a replacement or something. So to find more evidence for this, I went kind of down some of his not canon versions of himself, right? What I mean by that is, different potato memes that aren't potato memes, like the alternate realities. You got like the female potato meme and stuff like that. The Anna meme. He made a whole video about different versions of himself, and I went through some of those thinking, well, maybe it could be kind of a similar thing to Five Nights at Freddy's, where the books aren't canon, but some of the elements of the books can be applied to the games. If you've seen any game theories or film theories, well, not film theories, only game theories about that, then you would know that it's not canon, but you can use it within the game lore. So I thought it'd be a similar thing. So yeah, there is evidence for him replacing his hand. For example, you could see this is I'm not going to show all of them. I'm just going to show a few. But this is Pirate Potatomeen. He's using a hook for a hand, which obviously is a replacement hand. That's what pirates do. At least the stereotype for pirates, they can replace their hand with a hook. So you can clearly see that he might be indicating to us that there is something else going on, right? And then you could also, here's another post. This one's a bit more brutal, but this is you see his arm is completely off. Some of his bones are showing, his legs. It's kind of really brutal, not gonna lie. And I'm also wondering, how did he get that torso on the skeleton piece? Because that's actually impressive. I wanna know how he did that. Okay, potato me if you're watching. Tell me how you did that, because that's honestly kind of impressive. But I'm getting off topic. Okay, so then you're kind of wondering, well, what how did he lose his arm? And also, it leads to other questions about potatomeen. Like, why is he wearing a Crusader helmet, but also wearing a jacket? Is he from the Crusades, or is he from now? And also, what's with, why does he have a, gray hand? And why in this image is, part of his, ribs missing and then part of his legs, right? And I was thinking about this for a long, long time. So it hit me like a ton of bricks, and then I think I've cracked the case of potato meat. I've cracked it open like a jar of potatoes, okay? I have found the definitive origin for potato meat. It explains everything. It explains why in his Rickroll video he's aiming a gun to his head, right? It explains, why he dresses the way he dresses. What's with the gray hand? Why is his name Potatomeen? It answers all of it. So, let me go through the story now. So here is the tragic story of Potatomeen. Now, during the medieval period, Potatomeen was a simple potato farmer. His name was Meen. Now you might think it's an odd name for now, but back then Meen was a very common name, spelled M-E-E-N. His name was Meen, right? So Potatomeen was a simple farmer. He had a family, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Potatomeen started to get liver issues, right? This explains why his skin is visibly yellow and now isn't. Because, if you don't know, liver issues can actually make your skin turn, visibly yellow, and it's a very serious thing, and, people die from this. So it's nothing to joke about. All right, Potatomeen, he got this when he was, fairly old. But something interesting happened. He met a man known as Utanapishti. Now, Utanapishti was a very mysterious man. For People say that he was immortal. Evidence of him can be, traced back all the way, before the Bible, all the way to ancient Mesopotamia, right? Which is thousands and thousands of years old. So this ancient, people call him a wizard, right? Because how can one man be immortal? This ancient wizard noticed Potatomeen and his farm and was kind of impressed with his farm and noticed Potatomeen was, dying, right? So Utnapishtim thought, well, maybe I can grant this man immortality, right? So he made a deal with Potatomeen. He made a deal, and the deal states that he told Potatomeen that he would let him live forever and let him live on to see, his kids grow up and all. If he worked for him, and he also had to lose his arm and part of his torso. Why did he need to lose his arm and part of his torso? Simple. Utnapishtim needed it for his demon collection, as you can see here in this image, right? So he used it to feed his demons. Literally, not figurative demons. So he brought Potatomeen to hell, where they ripped his arm off, and used that to feed his demons. And then he used Potatomeen for his own bidding. Now, how did he, recover Potatomeen from this? Well, simple. All the potatoes Potatomeen had. All he did is he took the potatoes, and these were really special and big potatoes, and used it to morph around him, right? Used the potatoes as muscle, used the skin of the potatoes as his skin, and used the stem as his bones, and reformed his arm and part of his leg. And now Potatomeen was whole. But Potatomeen was not a free man. For Utnapishtim wanted Potatomeen to work for him. Wanted him to do his bidding. So, what did he do? He made Potatomeen he gave him a crusader helmet, and he used Potatomeen to fight in the name of God. To fight in the name of quote-unquote God, but in reality was only doing his bidding. So Potatomeen slaughtered. He slaughtered thousands of men in the name of God. And he couldn't do anything about it, because if he did, Utnapishtim would take away his life. So he slaughtered, and he slaughtered, and he slaughtered. And he never got to see his family again. Utnapishtim lied about that. And he couldn't do anything about it. And he kept on fighting in the name of the Lord, in the name of God. But it seemed to never stop. But after years and years, the Crusades eventually ended. And eventually, Utnapishtim forgot about Potatomeen. And Potatomeen was left on his own. Just a potato with an arm. And as soon as he realized that he no longer had to confide to the bidding of Utnapishtim, Potatomeen, he did what, he thought was right. He felt so terrible for slaughtering all those men in the name of God, even though he knew it wasn't right, but he did it just for a glimpse into a better future, a glimpse to see his family once again. But it's been too long. His family is long dead, and Potatomeen knows this. And Potatomeen, he doesn't think he can go on like this. So Potatomeen, he tries to end it all several times. You can see in this Rickroll post, you can see here, he tries, but he is immortal. And he covers his face in the Crusader helmet in shame of what he has done. He does not want to be recognized. He does not at all. That's why he wears the helmet. And he recolored it, to make it so people wouldn't recognize him. But he wears it in shame, and as a reminder of all the atrocities he has committed. And at long last, he thought he was at the end of his game. He thought that he had nothing to live for, and he tries and tries to end it. But he finds something that can make him whole again. He finds r slash just too good, and he starts posting custom Lego figures. And at long last, he finds a community that accepts him for who he is, an artist in deep inside. And he discovers a new family that will accept him for who he is and who he will be. And to this day, he posts on r slash just too good because this is the only thing that gives him fulfillment in life. We are his new family, his new reason to keep on living in life. And maybe in a few thousand years, since he is still immortal, maybe you'll find a new reason. But for now, r slash just too good is the reason Potatomeen keeps on going. And the reason why his hand is gray is because a potato molds after time. And that is just molded so bad it's all gray. So yes, and that explains why he's half potato. This explains why he used to be yellow, but now is not. And it also explains his Crusader hat and the reason why he wears modern clothes. It's a tragic tale, but with an uplifting ending in my opinion. And this is the definitive truth of Potatomeen. I have cracked the case. Finally, a successful episode of the Lego Conspiracy Theories. Now, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, do all that jazz. I don't know what the next episode of Conspiracy Theories is gonna be. It might be about someone else on r slash just as good, most likely. I know Potatomeen has requested that I conspiracize his age, but he's probably like thousands and thousands of years old. That might be a bit tricky to pinpoint, but yeah. And if you guys want to see any other conspiracy theories, just leave them in the comments. I will find the answer to it. There's no conspiracy theory hard enough for me to definitively discover. So yeah, I hope y'all have a nice day. Go check out Potatomeen. He has a YouTube channel and he posts on r slash just too good. It's actually where I got most of the images from, r slash just too good. I just went scrolling through his thing to do research. And so just have a nice day and bye.